So in our list of television video attribution methods, let's now go over to the micro column and let's talk about vanity URLs. So this is a very popular method for television measurement, specifically on broadcast and on cable. And let's talk a little bit more about what it is. So www.test.com/TV. Do you ever see that? Or maybe it's / savings or Thanksgiving discount or whatever it is. That is a vanity URL. And the whole point of this is usually when it's used in a television commercial is you're trying to get folks to use that vanity URL with the presumption that those who are using it are reflective of who's being influenced by television. Unfortunately, it rarely works in practice. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen it work in practice when you actually dig into the details. Before we get into that, let's first talk about why it is used. First off, very easy to set up, to add a vanity to a URL that you're already using. So setup is easy. Measuring the yes or no, did someone land on this vanity URL, is also fairly straightforward. You just have to look at website logs. Unfortunately, when it comes to accuracy of this method in estimating the total impact of your TV, this is where it completely fails. In fact, when we go to our litmus test that we assess all of our measurement and attributions methods by, you're going to find that vanity URLs fail every single one of the tests to some extent. Let's go through where exactly it fails on each one of these tests. So first, lift correlation. So this is a little bit more subtle, but let me talk a little bit about what happens in practice. So what you're thinking happens, or what most brands that use vanity URLs, what they're thinking should happen, is that you post a vanity URL on your television ad, someone watches that ad, and then they're inspired by that ad to then come to your site. They come to the site on the URL, and the presumption is, if you were to just measure how many people are coming in or who's using that vanity URL, that's going to give you a measure of how effective your television advertising is. Here's the problem with that. Most folks don't come in on the vanity URLs. So if you're putting /TV on your television ad, you're failing to recognize that most folks, when they're sitting on their sofas watching television or they're looking on their mobile devices, they tend to come in sideways. They're going to use search engines in most cases to come into your site, usually just searching for your brand name. They're then going to click on whatever the first link is that appears, and they're going to come through to your site. So already the vast majority of folks that are engaging with most sites, because they come in sideways, they're not going to be using this vanity URL. So already you're only going to be capturing a subset of the total population that's influenced by television. Therein lies the problem. You don't know how to scale it up. You don't know what fraction of the total television impact you're measuring. And so what happens is folks will arbitrarily come up with scaling factors. They may try to estimate it using surveys or some other method. But here's the problem, is we don't even know if there is a relationship between what you're measuring and the total impact of TV. Not only is it an unknown scaling factor, so you're basically making something up here, we don't even know if there is a scaling factor, meaning that the relationship between folks coming in on this and your total TV impact may be entirely untethered from each other. So that is a big problem. The next issue that you're going to run into with these is coupon sites, particularly if you're putting some type of a promotion on that vanity URL, like say 30% off. Very quickly, other folks and sites are going to be picking up that vanity URL. You're going to see posts of it on Reddit. You're going to see it in comment sections. And so suddenly folks that are using that vanity URL are no longer those who are only exclusively watching your television ads. You're going to have a mix of other folks. So let's go back to the issue here. So for those two reasons, lift correlation tends to fail. When we turn TV off, we're going to be seeing folks coming in from those coupon sites that are unrelated to our TV effect. Same thing here with no lift when no video. You're going to be getting this sideways traffic completely unrelated to your TV campaigns. You're certainly not going to see this by exponential lift pattern. And also, again, then I'd say this is the big problem with number 4. You're failing to capture the whole truth. Even in the best of times, you're only capturing a subset, a small subset of the total impact of folks that have been influenced by your TV campaign. And so that means you have to come up with some type of an arbitrary, ambiguous, immeasurable scaling that's completely subjective. And because the vast majority of folks influenced by your TV are not using this code, it means that whatever you choose for this scaling is going to be the big driver of your decision makings, and that's a big no-no. For those reasons, I shy away from vanity URLs. There's always a better alternative to vanity URLs in practice.